After Samuel and I lost our daughter, we prayed to see our girl again. The contact started small.
In the chilling world of supernatural horror, Annabelle, creation stands as one of the most terrifying chapters within the Conjuring Universe. The movie serves as a prequel to the original Annabelle film, uncovering the dark and twisted origins of the doll that has haunted audiences for years. Set years before the events of the first film, it takes us back to the moment when evil was first unleashed into the world. The story revolves around a dollmaker named Samuel Mullins and his wife Esther, who live in an isolated countryside home. Their peaceful life takes a dark turn after the tragic death of their young daughter, B. Stricken with grief and longing for her presence, the couple unknowingly opens a door for a sinister spirit to enter their home, one that takes the form of the doll, Annabelle. The film begins with the tragic accident that claims B's life, setting the tone for the sorrow that fuels everything to come. Years later, the Mullins open their home to a group of orphan girls and their caretaker, hoping to find comfort in helping others. However, what starts as a kind gesture soon becomes a terrifying ordeal when the children begin experiencing strange, unexplainable events inside the house. Whispers in the dark, doors creaking open on their own, and the sudden movement of the doll reveal that something evil lurks within. The youngest of the orphans, Janice, who suffers from polio, becomes the target of the entity. Her curiosity leads her to a locked room, the very one that the Mullins warned everyone to avoid. Inside that forbidden room, Janice discovers the doll, and from that moment, the haunting truly begins. As the film unfolds, it masterfully builds tension, relying on atmosphere, suspense, and emotional depth rather than cheap scares. The director creates a haunting blend of darkness and faith, exploring themes of grief, guilt, and the dangerous consequences of tampering with forces beyond human understanding. The movie reveals that the doll was never just a simple object. It was a vessel, a conduit for a demonic presence that feeds on fear and suffering. The entity uses the doll as a way to manipulate, deceive, and ultimately possess its victims. Janice, already vulnerable and seeking acceptance, becomes the perfect target for this malevolent force. Her possession marks one of the most chilling sequences in the film, showcasing both emotional horror and physical terror. One of the strengths of Annabelle creation lies in its ability to expand the lore of the Conjuring Universe while maintaining a deeply personal story. Each character, from the kind-hearted sister Charlotte to the brave young Linda, brings a sense of innocence and humanity that contrasts the evil surrounding them. Their friendship and courage become the emotional anchor of the story, reminding the audience that hope can still exist even in the face of darkness. The performances are remarkably grounded, especially from the young cast, who carry the emotional weight of the story with convincing fear and vulnerability. Their reactions make the audience feel every moment of dread, as if the evil presence were haunting them too. The film's visual design plays a key role in amplifying its horror. The dimly lit rooms, flickering lights, and eerie silence of the house create an environment where even the smallest sound feels threatening. The camera often lingers just long enough to make the viewer question what they're seeing, allowing the imagination to run wild. Every shadow, every slow pan, and every sudden movement of the doll intensifies the fear. The craftsmanship of the set design and lighting transforms the house into a character of its own, a place where evil hides behind every corner and innocence is slowly consumed. The pacing of the story ensures that each scare feels earned, building from subtle unease to full-blown terror without ever losing emotional resonance. As the mystery deepens, the audience learns the heartbreaking truth about the doll's creation. After B's death, the Mullins believed they were communicating with their daughter's spirit, but in reality, they had invited a demon into their home. The entity deceived them, manipulating their grief and pretending to be B to gain their trust. Once the spirit was allowed to inhabit the doll, the curse began a haunting that would eventually spread and connect to the later Annabelle films and even The Conjuring. This revelation gives the story a tragic dimension, showing how human sorrow and love can be exploited by evil. It's not just a story of possession, but of human fragility and the desperate lengths people go to in search of comfort. The second half of the movie escalates into relentless horror. As the entity's power grows, the once peaceful home turns into a nightmare. The walls echo with screams, lights flicker uncontrollably, and the doll becomes an instrument of pure terror. Janice's transformation after being possessed delivers some of the film's most memorable moments. Her expressionless face, cold stare, and eerie movements are haunting. The tension between Janice and Linda builds until it culminates in a heart-stopping confrontation. Sister Charlotte's faith and courage are put to the test as she faces the demonic presence head-on, trying to save the remaining children and end the evil that has taken hold of the house. The ending connects perfectly with the broader Conjuring storyline, showing how Janice, now fully possessed, escapes the orphanage and eventually becomes the young woman known as Annabelle Higgins, the same cult member seen in the original Annabelle movie. This twist ties the films together beautifully, turning Annabelle creation into not just a prequel, but an essential piece of the horror universe's puzzle. The cyclical nature of evil in this world is clear once unleashed. It spreads and manifests in new, terrifying ways. The ending leaves the audience shaken, realizing that while one story ends, another is just beginning. The film's ability to balance emotional storytelling with supernatural horror is what makes it stand out among other horror movies. It's not just about scares, it's about loss, love, and the thin line between hope and despair. Each frame feels intentional, each sound designed to unnerve, and each performance layered with emotion. The doll itself, once a symbol of innocence, becomes a vessel of darkness, representing how beauty and comfort can mask evil. What makes Annabelle creation so effective is that it plays on universal fears: the fear of the unknown, the grief of losing a loved one, and the horror of realizing that some evils can never truly be contained. The movie also delves deeper into the idea of faith versus darkness. Characters like Sister Charlotte embody the strength of belief in the face of pure evil, reminding viewers that courage often comes from compassion and faith. Meanwhile, the Mullins' tragic decision to open their hearts to a deceptive spirit highlights how pain can make even the purest souls vulnerable. These themes elevate the movie beyond standard horror fare, making it emotionally rich and psychologically haunting. It's not just a ghost story, it's a story about human weakness and the consequences of trying to control what should never be touched. Annabelle creation stands as a powerful example of how to tell a horror prequel the right way. It adds depth to the mythology, gives audiences a terrifying origin story, and manages to scare while also touching the heart. The balance of fear and sadness creates a lingering effect that stays with the audience long after the credits roll. Every element, from the score's eerie tones to the carefully crafted tension, works together to deliver a truly immersive horror experience. It's a film that proves that understanding the source of evil doesn't make it any less terrifying, it makes it more real. As the credits roll, what remains is a sense of unease mixed with admiration. The story of Annabelle is one that reminds us how grief can open doors that should remain closed, and how darkness often hides behind the promise of comfort. The way the film ties into the larger Conjuring universe gives fans even more appreciation for the storytelling depth behind the franchise. It's a reminder that evil, once born, never truly dies. It simply waits for its next opportunity to rise again. The connection between the past and present is seamless, and the way it sets up future horrors keeps audiences anticipating what's next in the saga. Ultimately, Annabelle Creation is not just a horror movie. It's a story about how tragedy, curiosity, and faith collide to create something unforgettable. Its blend of supernatural terror and emotional storytelling makes it one of the most haunting entries in modern horror cinema. The film takes what could have been a simple ghost story and transforms it into an exploration of human emotion, guilt, and redemption. Through its carefully built tension and chilling atmosphere, it captures what true horror is: not just monsters or demons, but the things we unleash when we let grief consume us. It's a haunting reminder that some creations are better left untouched, and some stories are meant to scare not just our eyes, but our souls.